Hi guys, welcome to creating your first transition in this lecture. It's gonna be a simple transition, but we're gonna compile it with the techniques of creating transitions. So let's start. Of course, you want to import your footage. So in any version of After Effects, you will come to the project panel, you right click and go import file. You navigate to where you have saved the sample videos I gave you. They are all 5 seconds and 30 frames per second. I will select all of them just like this and click on import. From here we'll start with only 2 clips to create a transition in between these 2 clips. I will select number 4 and number 5, they're quite cool. To create a composition from footage, you just right click on the footage after selecting them and you go new composition from selection. Here you have the new composition from selection panel. You want to create a single composition, of course, and then in the option here you have the dimensions from any one of them. They are identical in this case. I will take number 4 is okay, and you want to sequence them with an overlap which is 1 second. 1 second is the overlap, also is the duration of the transition you will create. I'll click OK. Now you'll start creating the first transition. So I will start. I will select the rectangle tool and just draw a rectangle here. It doesn't matter the size and so on. We are going to adjust it. Then I want to put the anchor point in the middle. It's a good habit. You can use the shortcut Ctrl-Alt-Home on the PC or a Mac Command-Option-Home. If you don't have Home or this shortcut is not working because of keyboard conflict on the Mac mainly, you can use the pan behind, then come and select your layer, of course, then click on the anchor point and you can drag it around. Now to snap it, if your snapping is off, you can use the Control or Command key and then it will snap in the middle or wherever you want to put it. I'll just put it over here. This is just a habit. Fine. Let's adjust the dimension and the position. In the rectangle 1, you scroll it down, you go to rectangle path 1, and in the size here, let's imagine we want to use the repeater to create 10 rectangles coming one after the other. Well, the best size will be the width of the composition, that's 1920, and then you divide by 10, as simple as this, and you get the right size 192. It was obvious, of course. Then you want to align it to the left. Here you are. Cool. So we created our first rectangle, and now you want to introduce the repeater. You'll come next to contents, there is add, you click on it and then you go to repeater. It's very easy to use the repeater, by the way. The first thing, if you scroll down repeater, you have the options of the copies and then the transformation of the repeater. In the copies we want 10 of them, okay? Then you open transform repeaters. This is how the transformation for the repeater is going to happen. And in position, we had 192, the size of the rectangle here. How about if we do it 196? So it moves a bit more. So we have like 4 pixels here in between. It's quite cool. Then if you like, you can click on your layer and use the arrow keys just to adjust it a bit. Okay, to make them a bit symmetric if you like to, if you are meticulous like I am. So now you have set your mat, you want to animate. To animate it, let's animate the number of copies. So let's go after 1 second. So this is 1 second exactly over here. And we keyframe the number of copies. We go to the beginning and we put the number of copies to 0. Here you are. You have a very nice animation and very simple. To make it more interesting, you can play with the end opacity or the start opacity. Let's keyframe the end opacity at 0% and then go after 1 second, just jump like this and make it 100%. So notice how the animation is a bit different but slightly smoother on the opacity. Cool. Now at the end over here, we don't want these lines to be on the video, we want to cancel them. Well, the best way to do it is to increase the size of the rectangle itself just a bit, or to recover the 4 pixels if you like. Fine. So when do we want to start to do that? If you scrub through, you will notice that it's pretty interesting up to here, and maybe you start canceling the spacing just from here. That's cool, few frames before. So we'll come to size, we keyframe it, and then we go to the next keyframe, the visible one here. I can use K to jump to this keyframe and put it at 196. So we have a very simple and beautiful transition over here, or a matte if you like. Cool. Of course, you can come over and choose your keyframes, select all of them. If you like, I will select only these 4. There is no point of this size because it's too small. Press F9 to make them easy ease. It's gonna be a bit nicer, just a bit, not much. Now that we have created our matte, let's rename the layer. We call it transition matte. We want to connect the lower layer to the matte itself. For this, you need to have the transfer mode here open. If you don't see mode and transparency and track matte, just come to the icon over here. Expand or collapse the transfer controls. You click on it, they disappear. You click on it, you enable it, they appear. These are the transfer modes. Here we are going to use now Luma inverted. Here you are. So here now we have a very nice transition, but we don't have a bottom layer. Cool. So we're going to adjust it for the 1 second here. Select the last layer, press I to go to its endpoint, and then let's take the matte itself and snap it to the endpoint. Here you are. Then select the top layer, press O, you will go to the out point, and simply select the first layer and use the shortcut Alt right square bracket to cut it off. Here you are. Or Option right square bracket to cut it off. Now let's zoom in and see exactly if we are doing very well. Actually, we are doing pretty well. Let's zoom out. Let's play our animation. For example, we start just before. Put the start here. We press B for start, N for end, and we play in between just to save time on you. Cool. Very nice transition. Fine. So now that you have created our transition, in the next lecture, we want to make this transition portable, meaning we can take it to other software than After Effects and have the same effect for the transition. We are going to use Premiere Pro as an example in this first section. Thanks very much for listening. I hope this was a nice one and you can make some changes. In the next lecture, we go to render.